So I've been seeing a lot of tweets recently about how Optimus Prime was in the wrong at the end of Transformers Dark of the Moon, and this really confuses me. So I'm going to explain real quick why I think Optimus Prime was 100% in the right, killing both Megatron and Sentinel Prime at the end of the film. And before I begin, let me clarify that I'm only talking about the films, like what happens in the movies. I'm not going to be talking about or counting the tie-in IDW and Titan Magazine comics, as Michael Bay himself has said they're not canon. Not saying any of them are bad, but I just want to focus exclusively on what's in the movies. Basically, what we know is 100% canon. That also means the comic and novel adaptations won't be discussed either. Yes, I know Megatron was apparently sincere or whatever in the scrapped ending for Dark of the Moon and its novel adaptation. That's cool and all, but it's not in the finished film, so it's not canon. Alright, so let's discuss each of the three characters that are involved in the ending: Optimus, Megatron, and Sentinel. I'll first begin with Megatron. This is the part that I'm most confused about, because I've seen people saying, Megatron just wanted a truce, he was being genuine, Optimus killed a surrendering enemy. First off, no he didn't. He killed an enemy asking for a truce. A truce is not the same thing as surrendering. Surrendering would mean that Megatron would become a prisoner of the Autobots or the US government. A truce means that Megatron would leave without really any consequences for his actions. Some deal would be worked out, like, I don't know, he keeps half of Cybertron or something, but yeah, he wouldn't be punished at all. Speaking of actions, let's take a look at Megatron's actions throughout the first three films. Why? Well, I think it's important to remember what Megatron's done in these movies. In the first film, it's established that Megatron started the Great War, which not only devastated an entire planet, but also wiped out a pretty big chunk of Cybertronians, especially the Autobots. We even see him straight up murder some random dude with a spear and laugh about it. Then he wakes up in Hoover Dam, starts killing people, leaves, heads to Mission City, and causes even more death there. At one point, flying through a building filled with people, and then flicking a human being, calling him disgusting. He also tells Sam that if he betrays the human race, he can become Megatron's pet. So, slavery. And that's even if he was telling the truth, as it's very heavily implied that Megatron would not just kill all the Autobots with the power of the Allspark, but he also would go on to wipe out or enslave the entire human race. He also rips Jazz in half. In Revenge of the Fallen, literally seconds after being resurrected, Megatron smashes into a submarine, killing who knows how many on board. Then it's revealed that Megatron is working with the Fallen to activate the Star Harvester, which will harness the power of the sun for Energon. But this would wipe out all life on Earth. So humans, animals, the Autobots, even plants. Trillions of lives. He then kidnaps Sam, prepares to dissect him alive, kills Optimus Prime, beats up Starscream a couple times, his own soldier. He then helps the Fallen spread a message around the globe saying, hey, if you help us find Sam, we'll leave humanity alone, we'll just leave Earth. But we know that's a lie because they were going to use the Star Harvester to kill everyone. To end the film, Megatron kills some soldiers in Egypt, and then gets his ass beaten by Optimus.
Starscream!
In Dark of the Moon, it's revealed that Megatron had made a secret deal with Sentinel Prime to save Cybertron. Megatron and Sentinel then tell the world, hey, so if you guys force the Autobots to leave the Earth, we'll leave you all alone. Not only did they not keep their word on this deal, but Megatron has Starscream kill all the Autobots literally seconds after they begin to leave the Earth. Now, obviously, the Autobots didn't die, but the intention was there to kill them. Next, Megatron and Sentinel set up shop in Chicago, where they basically wipe out the entire city. After bringing Cybertron to Earth, Megatron and Sentinel both planned on using the surviving humans as slave labor. He then only betrays Sentinel once Carly basically makes fun of him for taking a backseat to Sentinel. And as Megatron takes out Sentinel, he shouts, "This is my planet." I'm pretty sure he's referring to Cybertron, but regardless of whatever planet he's talking about, That's a phrase that doesn't scream, "We can all live in harmony." Then he dies. So with all that being said, how does anyone think that Megatron in the Bay films is even remotely worth trusting? He goes back on deals constantly. He's also attempted to commit planet-wide genocide and or enslavement 3 different times. So, in the film, why would Optimus think he's being sincere about this whole truce thing? And what even is this truce? The dude attempted genocide. You can't just be like, "Oh, okay, you can walk away from this, man. You can just, do whatever." Guys, this isn't the Prime Wars Megatron, the IDW Megatron, the Earthspark Megatron, hell, even the Prime Megatron. This is a Megatron with no redeeming qualities. He's just evil. That's it. There's no goodness here. Yes, I know that Prime Megatron, and especially IDW Megatron, did some horrible things before turning a new leaf. But these films very clearly weren't interested in telling a story like that. I mean, hell, Drift is apparently supposed to be a former Decepticon, but it's never mentioned in the films. So I doubt the writers ever wanted to tell a story about a Decepticon becoming good. Michael Bay and the writers clearly just wanted Megatron in these films to be evil. You can say that's just bad writing or that makes him a one-dimensional villain, and I mean, yeah, it's the Michael Bay Transformers films. Were you expecting, like, high-quality writing? As for Sentinel Prime, I get the argument a bit more. After all, Sentinel was surrendering, and was Optimus Prime's mentor. But you see, Sentinel committed treason. He also killed a bunch of humans, killed Ironhide, and took part in a plan that would have all the Autobots killed. I feel like nobody talks about that. When Sentinel and Optimus have their first fight in Washington, D.C., Sentinel's just like, "I don't want to kill you, surrender," and then he leaves. But he only does this because he thinks that Optimus Prime is just going to die anyways when Starscream blows up the rocket. Also, there's the whole, planet-wide slavery thing that he's, like, completely okay with. And finally, Sentinel himself was going to kill Optimus at the end of the rematch. He was literally seconds away from killing him, despite Optimus Prime begging for mercy. And he has the balls to then beg for mercy afterwards?
You, who are without mercy, now plead for it?
Even if you want to say, "Oh, but Sentinel was tricked or manipulated by Megatron." Like, okay, but he still did all those things. Also, from the way he talks, it seems like he's the one that came to Megatron with the deal. But let's say Megatron convinced him or manipulated him. That just gives Optimus Prime more of a reason to kill Megatron. After all, he manipulated and turned his mentor against him and turned him into a genocidal monster. Finally, I want to point out that while, yes, Optimus in this continuity is very brutal, more brutal than I think any other Optimus Prime ever, both G1 Optimus and Prime Optimus were going to kill Megatron while he was surrendering. Now, I've seen some people argue, my problem isn't Optimus killing them, it's that he enjoys killing them. And I, again, don't understand this argument. What about the ending of Dark of the Moon makes it seem like Optimus Prime enjoys killing these two? Optimus killing Megatron and doing that time to find out line, to me, never came across as he was hyped to kill him, but instead that he was just completely done with the war and Megatron. Also with Sentinel, after shooting him, he looks down at Megatron's awesome fusion shotgun, the bodies of Sentinel and Megatron, and then tosses the gun aside in disgust, like he's upset that he had to kill them. And yes, I do think he had to kill them, or at least he thinks he had to kill them. Megatron, as I've talked to death about by now, can't be trusted and is like the galaxy's #1 biggest war criminal. If they kept the original ending of Optimus Prime accepting Megatron's truce, you know for a fact in one of the sequels, he would just start doing evil stuff again. Also, with the Fallen, Shockwave, Starscream, and Soundwave all dead, Megatron and Sentinel are the only 2 Decepticons capable of leading the Decepticons. So in Optimus's mind, if those 2 are dead, there's an insanely high chance that the war will come to an end. And he's right. The Great War doesn't continue into Age of Extinction or The Last Night. Lockdown's a mercenary with his own faction, and Galvatron leads a new Decepticon army. In the time between Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction, there are pretty much no Decepticons left on Earth. This is either because they were hunted down, or they just completely fled Earth. Regardless, they're not there anymore. The war is over. Galvatron's new Decepticon army potentially could have started a new war, but then the Last Knight completely abandoned that plot point. Megatron does lead a small handful of Decepticons in The Last Knight. However, throughout that entire film, he's being brainwashed by Quintessa, who isn't a Decepticon. She's just using him because she knows that Decepticons will follow him and not her. Also, Sentinel is the only one who can control the Space Bridge pillars. So if Sentinel's dead, the Cybertron plan can't ever be revived. Unless Sentinel is revived again. Anyways, Optimus Prime is in the right to kill Megatron and Sentinel Prime.